Vice Golf came out with some wedges and I got my hands on a 56 degree because I wanted to see how it looked, how it felt, how it performs, and if it's worth the price. So let's get started. First things first, how does this thing look? In my opinion, this thing looks great. A couple things I look for in a wedge when I'm trying it out is one, the grooves. I like the full face grooves because I like to utilize the entire face. If I want to hit a full swing shot, I'm looking for more middle of face. If I want to hit kind of a pitch shot that spins a lot more, I'm looking for out on the toe. And having the grooves all the way across gives me that option to really utilize kind of the toe to center area. I really love seeing that. Another thing I look for that I'm liking on this wedge is the heel and toe relief, basically the grind. I like to have a versatile wedge. I want to be able to open it, I want to be able to hit it square. This thing is definitely giving me that idea that I'm going to be able to do that because they ground down the heel and toe here so I can really open the face up. They also ground down, looks like a little bit on that leading edge, so it'll help avoid the leading edge digging when you have more of those square face shots. So I love that. And the third thing I love to see, which not every wedge company does, is this little extra weight that they put up by this toe. Like you can see it's a little bit raised right in the back there. So there's a little extra mass. The reason why I like to see that is because when you're sitting up in the rough, it's easy to hit it up here on the face, a little high. And when you don't have any extra weight, the ball comes off super dead and doesn't quite get as far as you want it to. But you put a little extra weight over here, it kind of counteracts that. You can hit it a little higher on the face and kind of get away with it a little better. Essentially, the sweet spot's bigger on the wedge, which I love that because you're not always going to hit the center. I love that little extra weight there. For the shaft didn't have a sticker on it when I got it, so I'm not 100% sure what shaft it is. But I will do some research, figure out what shaft options there are, and I'll put it right up here. Then the grip it came with, it came with a lambkin grip. I asked for mid-size, so they sent me a mid-size. I like that they have the options for bigger, smaller, because, you know, everyone's a little different. Everyone doesn't need a standard grip. I don't even have a huge hand. I just like the feeling of this mid-size grip, and generally if you have bigger hands, you're gonna want this, if not bigger. So it's good they have that option. Looks good. Now let's see how it feels. To get a good feel for this, I'm gonna bounce around to a couple different chipping spots. But to start, we're gonna go short to this front pin. Just hitting a couple basic ones. I wanna see how it reacts, kind of more of a square face shot. And I made the first one, so this thing works. My immediate thoughts on this is I do like the weighting of this wedge. A lot of companies that come out with a wedge, like a newer company, not kind of the main brands, they struggle with getting this thing the right weight. The head, a lot of companies, they come out with a wedge that's a little bit too light in the head. And I feel like when you have a lighter head wedge, you struggle with some of that feels that you're looking for. I mean, great if you want to swing it faster, but we're hitting short shots. You don't really need to swing the wedge any faster. So I do like the weighting on this. They did that really good. It's got a good feel to it. I like the weight. It's not heavier than most wedges. It feels very similar to most wedges I've tried, but that good weight allows me to feel like I can take it back and let the club do the work on the way through. Now let's try open it up a little bit, see if we can use that bounce a little bit more. Nice. Good. I talked about it before, I do like the grind on this thing because I do feel like I can just glide it across the grass really easily. They ground down the front edge, so I'm not worried about digging into the ground at all, digging into the grain. The back gives me some of that relief. I feel comfortable opening this face up a little bit and not having the leading edge too high off the ground. Whoa, that was cool. I caught that so crisp that it came off like super low. I hit it way too far off the toe, so it didn't have any speed, but it had a whole bunch of spin. That was cool. Let's try a different spot. I really want to test that like high toe spot I was talking about when we're hitting in the rough. See if it comes off with just as much speed, doesn't come off so dead. So let's do that. Now, since our goal is to hit it off the top of the face here, I'm gonna essentially tee these up in the rough because I wanna just see how it reacts, not hitting dead center. That one felt high toe like all ever. Okay, I didn't really have much grass, but it did hit right up there. It didn't feel like it came off too dead. Obviously it came out a little bit slower because I hit the top of the face, but it did feel way better than some of the other wedges I've hit that have no weight at the top there. Again, got off high on the toe. That felt pretty good. Pretty much, honestly, it's what I expected, seeing that there was some weight at the top here. It doesn't feel like it comes off crazy dead. Obviously, I'm swinging a little bit harder because I know I'm trying to sky it basically. But it does feel like that really makes the sweet spot a little bit bigger. That one had crazy spin. Oh, what a lip out. Yeah, that was a little high toe as well. So we're doing what I wanted to do, which is hit it high off the toe. And I'm getting the results that I kind of expected and kind of wanted, to be honest. I mean, I really wanted to see, that was a little too clean. I really wanted to see like a good feeling shot, not hitting it off the center. Let's really get it up on the face there. Oh, that was the top of everything. Yeah, that one I hit way up here. It felt like it came off way more similar to like a middle shot than most wedges. So I really like that weight they put in the toe. It's very minor. It's not a huge like piece of chunk of metal coming out. Feels good. Love that there's some of that weight up there to help counteract when you hit a little bit high on the face for these shots. So next I want to test it from a little bit farther out. Still going to go to that front right one. I probably got about 30, 35 yards. I just want to see basically how it feels on a bigger shot. Ooh. I mean, I know the grooves are like new. I've hit, I don't know, 40 golf balls with this, so they're not worn out at all. But it is nice to see that like lower flighted one coming out. And for that to happen, obviously the grooves need to be good. The club's got to have a good weight to it. I got to be able to kind of cut across the grass a little bit better, meaning I can't be digging into it. If I dig into it, it's going to pop up. So I'm liking how this feels. I was a little bounced into it. Still, good check to it. I feel like I got good control with this because it's got a good weighting to it. Again, if it was really light, I don't feel like I'd have as much control. And this green's really firm and it's still digging in there. I'm liking the feel. We're gonna go back farther because I want to see if I can generate more spin with it. But let's move back, see how this thing feels from like 70 yards. So we made it out to about 70 yards. We're going to that back middle pin. I really want to just feel kind of how it feels on these longer ones. I want to be able to hit kind of those lower flighted ones and spin a little bit more. My feels are going to be a touch off because it's a little different loft than I'm used to. I normally carry a 58 and a 52. This is a 56, but we're going to see how it feels. All right, let's go. First ball. I hit it the right pin. Did I clip it? Did it spin nicely? Yes. Did I hit it the wrong pin? 100%. That was nice. That was real nice. Another thing I like about wedges is when they don't feel really, really firm off the face. Like this is the same ball that I use every other shot I've hit in the last year. The Vice Pro Plus. The wedge feels nice and soft off the club face. A little right. It feels really good. These This wedge feels really good. Really good. Oh, that was the one. Little 2-3 hop, really ripping. That's the one I was looking for. Because as you can see, I didn't dig really far into the ground because there's some of that leading edge relief. They ground it out. But it's got a good feel to it. Off the face, it feels a little softer. Love that feel. But now we got one more test. And that last test is in the bunkers. I do feel like I'm gonna like this thing out of the bunkers because it's got that good weighting, but let's make sure. Bottomed out really bad because there's no sand under it. Oh yeah. Does feel good cutting through the sand. Took me a second to adjust for how much sand's in the bunker. All right, let's go a little dump and run to that back pin. Dump, run. A little too much run, but God, it feels nice. Farther, fly it farther that back pin. Just where I thought I was gonna really like this thing through the sand. It's got good weighting to it, like the head's not so light. If it was lighter, it'd be a problem, but it feels really good. Yeah. Big fan of this. So obviously, I like how this thing looks. I like how this thing feels. The last question was, is it worth it? Now, at the time of filming this video, this wedge isn't even out yet. So I have no idea what this thing's gonna cost, but I would say if this thing is anything under $150, $160, that would be a total steal for this wedge. I mean, nowadays you're getting wedges for almost $200. And the reason why you're getting it for almost $200 is just because of the name of the wedge, like the name of that company. This thing is a great feeling wedge, looks good, and I know it's not gonna cost you an arm and a leg. Again, no idea what it's gonna cost, but anything under that 150, 160 number would be a absolute steal. Like they could for sure charge $180, $190 like those other premium companies that are selling you at that price because of their name. This thing will stack up against any one of those. I'm gonna put up all the loft and bounce options they have over here. I know they don't have a crazy amount of them. In the future, I would like to see that where they give you a little bit more options on this loft and different bounces. That would be nice to see, but obviously first time making a wedge, they didn't want to make 15,000 different models. I understand that. So definitely go check this thing out. Let me know, do you like the full face grooves? Do you like how this thing looks? Do you like the chrome finish? I'm not sure if they make a different finish, but what do you think of this wedge? I think it looks great. I want to hear from you. What do you think? So thank you for watching. Give this wedge a try. I highly recommend it, and I'll see you in the next video.